Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 25 of the Vanarama YouTube's Football Manager 2018 experiment with Celtic and Rangers in England. For those of you who've been following this series, you would have known we've started off in the Vanarama and we are where we are today and about to start season number 13. So, Celtic, for a third time, have got themselves promoted into the Premier League. Very much living up to my expectation of top-end Championship, bottom-end Premier League, but this time they comfortably won the championship, so I believe they may have a better opportunity at it now to try and make something of it in the Premier League. They've certainly got the money because of the sheer amount of players that they've sold, and they've sold a lot of players for a lot of money. I'd say they got to have about 150 million to spend in this window, and they've got to spend it wisely. They've got to have a decent wage budget as well. I think if they can spend that money wisely, they will sustain themselves this time. So, any early business then? So, Murphy Lualua from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Murphy Lualua, centre back, worth 29 million. He's on 130k, so he's got to be decent at least. So, okay. So strengthening well in one area, not allowing their better players to go anywhere just yet. So yeah, not bad to start with. So what early business have the counterparts Rangers done then? Rangers so narrowly missing out again, 2 years in a row. They've missed out in the playoff final. Paul Clement is still the manager. He's still the man to drive this team forward. So what early business has Mr. Clement done for Rangers? Well, they've got a loan player, but they've sold 4 players. They've made themselves £37 million from selling players. But David Orr's only gone for 1.2 million. If you're thinking if he's good enough for Tottenham, why go for that? A small amount of money. Well, let's hope that this isn't going to cost them. They brought in Nikola Horvat on loan. Looks like a decent striker, actually. Croatian. From where again? Sorry, CSKA Moscow. Don't think CSKA Moscow have ever loaned anybody to a championship team before, so pardon me. So, okay. So there's the early business for Rangers and Celtic. Celtic looking, obviously, as we said, to sustain themselves within the Premier League. Rangers are looking to join them this season. This can't be the season. Third time lucky that they make an assault on promotion and actually get there. So I suppose we'll see. The only way we're going to get a better picture now is by completing the transfer window and seeing what start these guys make. So, guys, I shall see you on the 2nd of September. Okay, then here we go. 2nd of September, Celtic sitting in 9th, played 2 games, 1-1, drawn 1. So that's a pretty decent start. They've got a game in hand. I believe that's going to be either against Hull, Tottenham, or Liverpool. So if that turns out to be Hull, then there's a possibility of them getting another cheeky win on the go there and push themselves up towards the top end. So no doubt they're not going to finish at the top. But I got a good feeling that they're not going to finish in the bottom end this time either. But we'll see what kind of transfer activity they've had. Okay, so we knew about Murphy Lualua. That was some early business. But Goran Vucic is another centre-back. They got him from Everton. So worth 21.5 million. Looks not so great with his stats, mind you. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. Julian Brand. He's 33 years old now, Julian Brand. He's a German utility attacking midfielder that's been playing for Tottenham and Man United in this league already, so he knows this league rather well. He's 33. Depends now on how much he's declined in his career now. So obviously if Tottenham have let him go, I can't imagine there's a great deal of him left. But hopefully Celtic get a year or two out of him before he decides to end his career. Daiki Fujita, I think that's how you're going to pronounce that one. He is a Japanese 28-year-old defensive midfield right. Not defensive midfield, the defender right, with 30.5 million on a good wage. So he must be decent. He's a Champions League winner, as you can see there. But he's also won the Sky Bet Championship in 2023 with, I can't see which team that is. I'm hovering over it. I can't see what team that is. Let's have a quick look a minute. I want to see this. West Brom. So there's his career. He played for West Brom. He moved to Barcelona last year, only made 3 appearances. So considering that, I mean, he played for Chelsea, made 11 appearances in 2025. So there might be something about this guy. Claudio Saavedra, I think that's how you're going to pronounce that one, from Olympiacos. It's a Chilean striker, 21 million. I recognise his name. No, it was a different Chilean striker. Different Chilean striker was on loan, I think, at Rangers. Not long ago. I think he was from Paris Saint-Germain. But he's played in this country before. He's played in the Premier League as well for Southampton, for Wolves and for Everton. So let's see what he can do for Celtic now. And obviously, if he's an ex-Premier League striker and they got him for 3 million, that's a pretty good deal. How old is he? 27. Not bad at all. Good dealings there. Then finally, Alexander Shimko, another central defender. He's worth 33 million now, and got him from West Brom. Played all of his career at Shakhtar Donetsk. Took him up until 2024 before he actually started playing for them. But then obviously he started pushing into more towards the first team, and then I think when he was ready to play for in the first team at Shakhtar, West Brom snapped him up for 15 mil. They made 2 3/4 million on him by selling them on to Celtic. So let's see if Celtic can get the best of him now. Celtic have not sold any high profile players, which is absolutely brilliant news for them. So they've added to the team that walked the championship last year, and they've not lost any of them players. So yeah, I got a good feeling for Celtic this year. I got a feeling it's not going to be a miserable season. They've had 3 miserable Premier League seasons in the past. They need to turn it around this time. So let's see if they can do it. Let's have a little look at what Rangers have done. Okay, so Rangers, they've started really well. They've made a good assault on the championship to start with. They're in 6th at the moment. Won 3, drawn 1, lost 1. That one loss was away 2-0 to Millwall, which they may be a little bit disappointed with, but they've won 3 quite comfortably as well in those games, and they've drawn at home to Brighton. And there you go, Brighton are in 2nd at the moment, so not a bad start for Rangers. Let's have a look at the business that they have done. So obviously we've seen that they got Nikola Horvat on loan from CSK Moscow. I believe he was a striker, yes. Scott McCann as a backup goalkeeper then. I think they didn't pay an awful lot of money for him, but you don't want to pay a lot of money for someone who's not really going to play week in, week out. So Joel Hilton on loan from Man United is another striker, worth a bit of money. One for the future maybe. Simon Ball on loan from Man City, who's an attacking midfield left. 21-year-old, worth a bit of money as well. Andre Silva on loan from Inter Milan. They're paying a loan fee per month for him. He's worth quite a lot of money, 26 years old. I mean, they've got a bit of money behind them. Surely it's not worth just buying him from Inter Milan, because if he's not playing for Inter Milan, I don't know. Frank Safo from Baekong. The bloody hell Baekong. He's a Ghanaian 21-year-old central midfielder. He's on a bit of money. He's on a lot of money, so I'd like to think he's a good enough player for this league. And Baekong are a Chinese team, of course. No wonder he's on a bit of money if he's had to come from China. So Jan Dander from Middlesbrough. He is an English 30-year-old attacking midfield left. So if he's come from Middlesbrough, played a long time at Middlesbrough, jumping between the Premier League and the Championship, quite a regular player for them. So maybe he might add a little bit of wisdom. Obviously, if he's been in promotion teams on a couple of occasions, he may know a thing or two about getting promoted, but a bit late in his career now. To round this one up, Sabonga Mtimkulu, I think you're going to pronounce that. It's a South African 20-year-old central midfielder on loan from FC Porto. So, Rangers, I mean, if these loans work out, they haven't spent a lot of money. They've only spent just under 15 mil. They've made 77 million in total in transfer fees. If they can get recorded, if they can get promoted with the team that they've got, and they've made about 60 mil, over 60 million, there's a nice little transfer kitty there to assault the Premier League with. So, or if they aren't quite cutting it, there's a nice bit of money to invest in promotion come January. So we'll be keeping a close eye on this one with Rangers, obviously. So let's see how things unfold. I mean, they're looking quite comfortable at the moment, although Burnley are the early front runners, winning all 5 of their games and already accumulating a goal difference of 12. So I think a top 2 finish is the one Rangers I think are going to want, being as they've lost the playoff final 2 years in a row. I don't think they're going to want to go into those playoffs again. But personally, I don't want to go through that with them again, because I want them in the Premier League with Celtic. So we'll see how this one pans out for them, Celtic as well. I think let's get some games under their belts. Let's take it to the 30th of November, where we're going to get a real sort of outlook on how their seasons are going to go. So guys, I will see you there. And that is when we will conclude this episode. Here we are then, the 30th of November, guys, and that all too familiar sight, Celtic have slid down the table. They're in 16th place. They've only won one more game since we last saw it. They've drawn 5 and lost 5. Look at those losses. You've got like Man City, Chelsea and Tottenham in amongst them, so that's not quite so bad. In the draws, you've got West Brom, Wolves and Southampton, but they've drawn against Liverpool and Man United. So if you look at it, they've played against most of the top teams already, so the next few games, I'd imagine the wins there, they haven't played Arsenal yet. I'd imagine Arsenal are the only top team that they've still got left to play. So let's see what the next few games brings. We'll see how they're looking in February now. But player stats now. I always say with player stats, because when you got individuals that are on the stats tables, you always seem to see the teams doing better. I think we'll go with the detailed ones on this one, just to have a good look at it. So the average rating, usually if you're doing or going to do okay, you're going to have a couple of players somewhere on these tables, and at the moment they have 0 players on the average rating. But imagine that you're not going to get that right now. Goals, have they got a goal scorer who's actually scoring well for them? And the answer there is no, because at 12 games in 20th place, there's somebody there with 4 goals. So Celtic don't have any players who've scored more than 4 goals, which is an alarming one, but I'd say that's alarming for most teams looking at that. But no, you're going to need a better goal scorer in your team, so maybe that's something they're going to invest in. Assists, have they at least got somebody who's setting the goals up? And the answer there is no. There's no point looking at the clean sheets, because they're not really going to have many clean sheets when they're down that end of the table. So of the 3 main ones, average rating, goals and assists, they have 0 players in any of those tables. So I believe if they have got any more money to spend, they're going to need to spend, and imagine they've only spent about 60 odd million, they're bound to have at least had 150 million to spend. They've made like 250 million in the last 2 seasons on players and not spent an awful lot of it. So I believe an extremely creative midfielder and a goal scoring striker will fix their problems. There's two players and that's it, because they've invested well in defenders. They're getting some good draws against some big teams, and say in the losses, Man City only beat them by the 1 goal. Well, Tottenham only beat them by the 1 goal. The heaviest defeats have been 3-1 away at West Ham and 4-2 away to Chelsea. And they've lost against Stoke, who are currently in 6th place. So Stoke are having a good season, so you can sort of understand that. If you look at it, they've beaten Newcastle and they've beaten Villa. So two of the teams down the bottom, but then they still got to play Leicester. I think have they got to play Wolves? No, they've played Wolves, so they still got to play Leicester. They've still got to play Hull, I believe. Yes, they still got to play Hull. They still got to play Bournemouth. Still got to play Huddersfield, I think. So they got winnable games coming up. So I see them, because I say 2 wins and they could be up around 12th, 11th. They go on a little bit of a run. They could be up around about 8th and 9th. So it's pretty tight down there. They're still 4 points clear of relegation at the moment. So I'm not too worried about relegation for them at the moment. Anyway, let's have a look to see how their rivals Rangers are doing in the Championship. Okay, so Rangers, as we hoped, are now in 2nd place in the Championship. That's really good to see. They've won 13 of their 18 games. 3 losses, all coming away. And we're talking away to Burnley, who are top, looking like they're going to be clear winners of the division. Luton, they may be a bit disappointed with them, and Millwall. But they've drawn 2 games against Reading and Brighton. Reading, and that was at home as well, and Reading ain't doing too well, but Brighton are. But the 13 wins, see they're blowing teams away. You know, they've got a 3-1 there, 3-0, 3-1, 4-1, 2-0. So they're winning these games quite comfortably at the moment. So I believe Rangers could go on and actually get themselves promoted this time, although they have got some stiff competition for 2nd place from Fulham. Although the next team is 7 points away, so I think those top 3 are going to be fighting it out for those 2 spots. They're only 2 points away from the top spot, mind it, because Burnley have drawn a few games. They're only 2 points away from winning the division. I believe that the player stats are going to be a lot different on Rangers' part, although they are a league below Celtic. Still, I mean, let's go and start with the average ratings. So the highest average rating is a Burnley player as expected, but Joel Hilton of Rangers is in 2nd place. They've also got a player in 13th place in Simon Ball, and in 17th place in Frank Sarfo. Oh yeah, and Mason Holgate makes up 20th place then. So they've got a few players in the average rating chart. They've got the top goal scorer of the division in Joel Hilton, and Taylor Richards is also on the chart. So they've got 2 players in the goal scoring charts. What about the assists? In the assists, that's strange, they don't really have anybody. Oh, they got someone down there, Nicola Horvath has got 4. But maybe it's a much more of a team effort on their part. They're in 2nd place, they're in there on merit. And goalkeeper clean sheets. Their goalkeeper Joe Bursick is joint 4th with 6 clean sheets so far this season. Could maybe tidy that one up a little bit. Maybe if he can put his finger out a little bit more, maybe things may be a little bit different in the league table then as well. So far so good for Rangers. Celtic really need to pull their fingers out, and maybe, as I said, that attacking midfielder and striker may make the difference for them and drive them up the other end of the table. It is quite tight, as we saw in the Premier League, but this year it's tight between those 3, Burnley, Rangers and Fulham. This is where this episode concludes now, guys, and the next episode will finish this season off for us. We'll pick it up at the end of the transfer window, as we always do at the end of the January transfer window. Will Rangers spend a little bit of money? Have they got any money to spend? I think they have, haven't they? I mean, we mentioned this, that they have got a bit of a war chest ready to assault the Championship if things aren't going for them, but they are at the moment. They may want to pick up a defender to help the goalkeeper, a defender or 2. Other than that, they're doing quite well. Maybe an attacking midfielder themselves, to rack up a few more assists, then that may allow them to win the division. But then at the same time, if they think they're in a good position to win that division, they may as well leave that money for the Premier League. But thankfully, that's Paul Clement, the manager's job, to work that one out. So this is where we leave this episode, guys. Thanks all for watching. We'll be pushing on now, and we'll see you in the next episode starting on the 2nd of February. Thanks very much, and cheerio for now.